Thank you very much for the possibility to present you the family care system in Austria. So I hope you understand me, because sometimes I think my pronouncing is a little bit strange for you. Yeah, here you can see Austria. Austria is a small country in the middle of Europe. We have about 8 million inhabitants, and we consist of 9 regional provinces. So I think that's important, especially in the field of long-term care, because every provinces have a little, that differs the system a little bit. So you can see Austria, as I mentioned, we have about 8 million inhabitants, and we have about 5% of our inhabitants get cash benefit in our care allowance system. So about 450,000 people get this care allowance on a regular basis, and this is a big number. 5% of all of our inhabitants have such a need long-term care. And more than 80% of the people who depends on long-term care live at home, and only a small group live in nursing homes. And within the institutional formal care, we have the community-based home care scheme, we have the semi-patient care and the inpatient care, as mentioned, the nursing homes, and the 24-hour care. I will explain it now. You can see only 16% of this 5% of the population live in nursing homes, and most of the dependent people live at home and are cared from their family. So 46% only cared from family members or from friends, and no official service is involved. And 31% they get also support from community home-based care services. And only 2% go on a regular basis to daycare centers, and 5% get support from the so-called 24-hour carer. These are carers from abroad, around from Austria, from Slovakia, Romania, Bulgaria. They live 2 weeks or 3 weeks with the dependent people, and then they change. And this is on a regular basis. They have a law for this care, so they pay their taxes, and there is also some regulations for quality assurance. It sounds a little bit strange for a lot of other EU countries that in Austria is this on a regular basis, but in the meantime 5% of all of our people who need care use this service. And they get also a financial support from the government for this 24-hour care. So they get 550 euro per month to finance this care. Additionally to the cash benefit they get. So we have 3 types of home care arrangement. The first one is nursing and care carried out exclusively by the family and neighbors and friends, as I mentioned before, and nursing and care carried out by the family with community-based home care support. And the third arrangement is that only this home care service providers support the people who need long-term care. So a lot of our patients, clients live alone. So about 50% of these people who get this cash benefit live alone and not with the family members. So the family members support them, but they don't live together. And the family carers, I think that's, we have the figures worldwide. 80% of the family carers are women, and 90% are related with the person who is in need of care, and the average age of the carers, 60.8 years of women and 66 years are men. So the we see these figures. It's increasing the age of the informal carers. 10 years ago, we had 55 years were the women and 60 the men, and only in 10 years it was increasing of 5 years. And our Ministry of Social Affairs, they carried out regular studies about the burden of these informal carers, and you can see the biggest burden is the responsibility and the accountability, the anxiety and the concern about the care situation, restrictions, severe burden, sleep disorder, isolation, hopelessness. These are the main burden of this informal carer. And our Ministry of Social Affairs provide counseling support for these family caregivers. On the one side, home visits through nurses, and they make quality assurance and also counseling of these informal carers, and they carry out 20,000 visits per year. And last year we introduced a new service. It's the resource-oriented counseling of informal carer. It's on the psychosocial aspects, how to support the informal carer themselves to cope with the situation. And 2012, there was a study on young carers, because this was very popular in the last years in Austria, because this study showed that we have a prevalence of 3.5% of children or adolescents care for their parents or other family members who have a chronic illness. So 3.5%, and it's similar to figures to the United States and also to Britain. I think they are 3.2% in Great Britain. So, and the average age is 12.5 years old, and it was a big study. It was carried out as a questionnaire, and it was done by the Institute of Nursing Science from the University of Vienna. And now we as Red Cross make a project together with the Institute of Nursing Science. We introduce now a program. It's called Family Conference. We trained our nurses, and now we would like to carry out this family conference with families where these young carers are involved, and to support them how to handle and how support the children. Yeah, here you can see the tasks of the young carers. There are a wide range of tasks which are carried out from them, and sometimes they have a big burden and the shame to speak about the situation. That's very important, and we also make a lot of awareness work together with the Ministry of Education. They are responsible for the schools, so we produced posters and put them on the schools that the young carers that they talk about the situation. So that's the aim. And they don't, because there are a lot of problems behind, because they think they have to leave their family when all know that there's a family member chronically ill and they have to care for. Here you can see a picture about the home care system in Austria. So the main partner, the client and the informal carer, but very often, as I mentioned before, they live separately, and the nurse is here with the car, and it symbolizes that the nurse is the link between the several elements and the other partner in the system. It's because the nurse is very important. She organizes a lot of different social services and other services for the clients, but also she links the client with the GP. So the GP is a very important partner, but also the hospitals, and the town hall symbolizes here the public authorities who are responsible for the regulations under which scheme they fall and what are the different aspects. So here you can see the regulations from the public sector. So we have the cost per hour of home care is regulated by the regional government. So it depends not on the service provider, there are clear regulations. Also the amount of hours in home care nursing, the cost contribution of the client. So there is no free market. And the provider in home care in Austria, most of them are welfare organizations like the Red Cross or the Caritas, or we have 2 other big welfare organizations, and in some areas we have very small regional associations, but they are all non-profit organizations. We have no for-profit organization who provide this home care, and no governmental organizations. And who works now in the field of home care? So 20–25% of the home care team are nurses with a 3-year training, and then we have carers for elderly and assistant nurses who have a training of 1 year or 2 years, and then the home helpers, they are mainly responsible for the domestic work and a little bit of personal care, and then we have volunteers who are responsible for the social contact, but it depends on the region how many volunteers are involved in this system. Yeah, and in 2007, the Red Cross and some other institutions, also the Ministry of Health, we adapted the WHO curriculum of family health nursing. We would like to, yes, we made it for Austria, so about the content and the objectives, and we developed 3 different courses. The one was called the Case and Care Management in Context of Family Care, then Public Health in Nursing with focus on health promotion, and the third one, Family Nursing. And all 3 courses together is a master program. But until now, unfortunately, we don't have this master program because we are waiting now for 2 or 3 years for a new law for nurses. Now maybe in the next weeks we will get it, and there the family health nursing is mentioned, but not in the old law, so that's a little bit of problem. But we have different university courses who has already implemented the content, and like the public health nursing, we have already such courses at our universities, but not. Yes, but not the whole master program. So we look in the future that we will get it maybe in 1 or 2 years, because I think it was mentioned in the morning that we need more emphasis not only on the patient itself, so also on the family system, especially in the field of long-term care. Thank you very much for your attention.